Hi everyone, I'm back. I want to touch on two things that I didn't touch on before. For those of you who may be interested in building this unit, you saw earlier the top part of the design. We're not going to focus on that. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. One thing that's a little bit harder to explain. My original design actually was going to be, we saw actually, I'm going to try and figure this out and explain it as well as I can. We saw earlier my 4-inch collar, my 4-inch reducer bushing going to my 2-inch. My original thought was to take, imagine, rather than have this threaded one right here, you see I have a threaded one right here, this is actually Schedule 80. Okay, I'll explain that later. Everything you see here, you saw up to date, is Schedule 40 PVC. This is Schedule 80. I'll get back to that in a minute. This is my 2-inch actually. I'll get back to that in a minute. So my original thought was to buy a 2-inch that would have fit in here, that would have fit in there, not threaded, and if you look at the bottom, you see a little lip down there. This thing right here, right at the edge, that's to prevent the pipe from going all the way through. My original idea was to have this guy sitting there, take a Dremel and remove that little lip in there so that my pipe, the whole length of my pipe could have went all the way in. Imagine this is a long pipe, would have went all the way in, and this threaded part would have been on the outside here, screwed into my pump. That was my original idea. Until I went to the plumbing store, talked to the guy a little bit, explained to him what I wanted to do, and he's the one that told me the 2-inch Schedule 80 threaded. I was able to get a threaded one. The opposite side of the Schedule 80 is exactly 1.5 inches, and 1.5 inches for Schedule 40. So I have a Schedule 80 2-inch, which fits into my Schedule 40 reducer, and the opposite end happens to be, wasn't by design, 1.5 inches, and my Schedule 40 1.5 inch fits in there, and then I can go like that. All this fits in there. It'll make it a lot neater. I won't have this guy sticking out like I was originally intending. All this will end up being flush, When all this is all glued together, the glue will help lubricate it a bit. This will be completely flush against the top. This guy will be completely flush against here, and that surface will be screwed right into my pump. So this little guy, very important if you want to build it. Try and get from 4-inch, your 4-inch T, 4-inch Schedule 40 to 2-inch, then 2-inch Schedule 80 with the 3/4 or 1-inch, whatever you need here. You can buy, there's 1-inch available. If you have a 1-inch outlet from your pump, get 2-inch to 1-inch, 2-inch to 1/2 inch, whatever you need. They are available. As long as that side, you want to put a Schedule 40 1.5 inch in there. That's what you want to do. Okay? If you can get that threaded, even better. As I showed you before, if it were threaded, I would not have needed this guy right here. I could have went directly in there, screwed him right in. I couldn't get it threaded, he didn't have it in stock, and I wanted it right now, so I went with that. Not a big deal. I don't think it makes any difference for me. Another thing I didn't touch on before, I hear a lot of people, and more recently actually, as they're trying out the Co2 Reactor build, and it's a very big problem with the Rex build. The Rex build is a gas buildup, whether it be oxygen or CO2 in the reactor. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to drill on my cap, I'm going to drill a hole. I'm going to put, this is a, not sure about the size, it's going to be trial and error. I'm going to get a scrap piece of PVC or whatever. I'm going to make a hole in it until I find the proper size. I'm going to glue him in here, PVC glue. And I'm going to put a hose barb. This is my little hose barb. Put a silicone tube in there. And I'm going to connect that to a little Rio. I have a little Rio pump right here. It has a fractioning impeller. Can't see it. Right there. Fractioning impeller right there. So I'm going to go from here back. I'm just going to run this guy in the sump. He's going to be on 24 hours a day, constantly sucking out any oxygen or CO2 that because accumulated in the top of the reactor. I'm going to go into the little Rio right here. It's what is it right here? The Rio Plus 800. It has a fractioning impeller. It's going to chop up, whether it be oxygen or CO2, whatever. It's going to chop it up into the sump. Not a big deal. I don't think it'll make a huge difference. Just to make sure there's no buildup in the reactor. That's my main concern. I don't care about whether it be oxygen or CO2. That's my main idea. I hope that makes it a little bit more clear. Bye.